myself Santhosh. I do have around 9 years of experience working in IT industry, and currently I'm working as manager in Microsoft. My core experience is towards data science, data engineering, and data analytics project. Currently, I'm managing around 8 projects, and total I have worked with around 80 projects from different domains such as banking, healthcare, insurance, e-commerce, and retail. And I'm a certified trainer taking training for KSR for the last 5 years.
In the last class, we have understood what is Anaconda, and we have also installed, and the one editor which we are going to use will be Jupyter Notebook, right? And Jupyter Notebook is one thing which we will be using for rest of our class. And today we learn the first concept. As we said that it's going to be everything from basics. For the initial 5 to 6 class, whatever you are learning, you may not be using in the real time, but it's always good to know from basics, correct? So what really is important for us is working with the libraries. There are already built-in libraries that we will use it for most of our implementation. For now, let's go and work with our notebook. So it's always a good practice that you name the notebook. Let's say that I maintain that Python basics 30, 20, 38, 23. So basically I'm naming with the today's date, correct? Now let me run the first line code. I'll write print, I'll write print, I'll write I love data engineering. How many of you love? So let me run it. Perfect, right? I'm getting. See, I'll tell you one thing. I'm telling you this again and again. Any doubts which you have, the first thing before even you ask me, you have to try it yourself. Only then you will learn coding. Yesterday, one person had a question. Should I always give double quotes? Can I give single quotes? Now, how many of you have this question? Almost everyone, right? The first step is don't ask me. You go and do it. You go and do it. So I'll say print hello world. For this, I've given double quotes. For this, I've given single quotes. Is it working? Is it working? Yes. So that means it will support either double quotes as well as or single quotes. That's what you have to take it from here. Okay. Now, fine. Next thing is I will go and write print data vision. KSR data vision. Okay. Now I'll write this print KSR data vision. Now, if I write this, it's throwing some error. It's throwing some error. That means I've already told you that your Python comes with certain functions, right? We have to just use that function. But if you see, there is a lot of difference between the first print and the third print. The reason is the first print, which is showing in a green color, which is the actual keyword, which is a actual keyword. With that keyword only, you should be able to access. And this is not the keyword. This is not the keyword. So that means it doesn't know what does capital P means. If this is not working, if this is not working, 100%, this will also not work. This will also not work. Now, you have to remember that from these two examples, that is the line number 3 and line number 4, you have to assume that, not assume, it's a proof that your Python is case sensitive. Your Python is case sensitive. That means you have to maintain the proper case. And especially if you're maintaining a proper case, it also should be certain proper keywords. Even forget about this one. Okay, at least it is in capital letter. We can have some justification. Oh no, this is a different word. But at least if you see here, there is a difference between line number 2 and line number 3 as well, right? So line number 2 is basically saying that, okay, normal print. But line number 3 is something which is not supporting. So any question which you get, the first rule of this entire course is you have to try it by yourself, and then only you need to ask me. Is that clear? Don't ask me then and there. That's how you learn, right? I keep telling this in all the batches, but again, I'll tell you, we do have, like we worship God for certain things, right? For example, in terms of knowledge, whom did we worship? For knowledge, which God we worship? Knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. Knowledge, knowledge. Ganesha, thank God. Now, if you want to have some money related, or maybe, okay, I want to earn more wealth, health and all, whom you will ask? Okay, if you want to be very much bold, okay, if you want to like be bold, like let's say I want to attend my interview very bold, whom you will pray? You're for boldness without fear. You want to face something.
Shiva, Hanuman.
Hanuman.
I think Hanuman.
Hanuman, correct? So we have a different god for different purpose. Now tell me, for education related, I want to read well, I want to get some good.
Saraswati.
Saraswati. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. Even if Saraswati comes and teaches you, unless and until you practice, you will not learn. Even if Saraswati comes and teaches you data engineering, especially Python, you will not learn unless and until you practice. So the first thing is you have to open the notebook. You have to try it yourself. And that's the only way. I'm telling you straight away the formula. Telling you the straight away the formula, what you need to do. Any question you get, please go and open a notebook. It's like your small notebook only, where a 2-line notebook, you can write something here, execute it, right? And in order to execute it, what I am doing is I'm writing like this. I can even run this code here. Okay, I can even run this code here, or I can press Control plus Enter, shortcut. Okay, I can go and click this. If I go and click this again, it will run. And you can also press Control plus Enter. Try to get used to the shortcuts. Okay, and don't ask me what is this IN and all. This is just a number, the cell number. Okay, so initially it was 1. But now I keep on entering, right? So it goes to a subsequent number, 7, 8, 9. Again, if I run 10, 11, 12, it's just a line number. It's just a line number. Okay. And IN stands for input. This IN stands for input. I'm writing something, right? I'm writing something. Since I'm writing something, I am going and it's showing as IN. And this is the cell numbers. Right? So here, why it is 4? Initially, when I run 1, 2, 3, 4 was there. So initially, when I ran, it was 4. And after that, I am running multiple times. So it's getting updated. So 1 become 5, 5 become 8, 8 become now 10. So it's just a cell number. Don't overthink. The problem with learning coding is you people overthink, not required. In real time also, people will browse, people will get to know the syntax, people will take the reference. No one can go and remember all the coding. I keep saying this, data engineering is a Mount Everest. You need to climb that. For that, you should have a proper smooth journey. You cannot take all the load at the initial level only, right? So whatever we are learning, try to keep it very simple. The biggest problem, not only about technology, about human is they overthink. If you overthink, nothing you can do. Take it one step at a time, learn cell by cell and try to understand. Okay. Now, in this 4 examples, 2 things I got to know. One is Python is case sensitive. That means you have to maintain a proper case. It's not like a SQL where you go and give a capital or a small, it may not work. And the other thing is you have to specifically use exact function only. You cannot go and use any other function, right? And tomorrow, don't ask me why this print is not working. If you want to get this answered, what you should do? If you want this answer from me, what you should do? Traffic police. Do you remember what is this traffic police? Yes. If you want, ask me this question, why line number 12 is not working, why line number 11 is working. If you want to ask me this question, you can ask me this only question. Before that, you need to go to a traffic police and ask them why it is always red color only. Why it's not blue color, why it's not brown color. You need to ask them. If they give an explanation, I will also give the explanation. Very simple. You cannot ask them because it's rules and regulation. You cannot ask them because it is predefined. They've already decided that red color means you have to stop. You cannot go and ask them why it's not blue color, why it's not brown color, right? You cannot ask them. Similarly, you can also never ask me why line number 12 is not working, why line number 11 is working. You cannot ask me. The reason is it's already predefined. You have to use the keywords. Okay. Now, this is about the thing. So 3 things you have learned. Either you can give a quotes, right? And either you can give double quotes or single quotes. You have to use a proper keyword and case sensitive. And the other thing is keywords has to be used. Now let's see if this will work or not. Should I answer or you will try and tell me it will work? Now it is understood that anything is a character, maybe quotes is required, maybe anything like a number, it's not required, correct? And one thing which you need to get to understand is these are all the basic checks that you need to know. Tomorrow while going and printing, please don't write like this. Don't go and write like this P. It will not work. Okay. So let's make it very simple. Now, every programmer has to start with basic calculation. That is a simple calculation. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is we are going to learn a new concept today, and that concept is, let me tell you, we will be learning something called variables. So this ash is nothing but comments. Okay. So we'll be learning nothing but variables. And if I keep this plus, another cell will come. Now we will go and assign A equal to 6, B equal to 4, C equal to A plus B, and print C. It will not work, but still we will try to give capital here. Now let's see if it will work or not. It will work. Now, initially you said that you cannot use capital. I did not say you should not use capital. It's case sensitive, I said. That means whatever you give here, the same thing has to be added here. Okay. So if I go and see this, if I go and type this, it will not be there. Why? The result is assigned to capital C and not to the small c. So unfortunately, your name C is not defined, in the sense it has not been able to distinguish between small letter and capital letter. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, let's assign that A equal to Santhosh, B equal to 7, C equals to 3.14. Okay. So I'm assigning 3 values. Now, why I am doing like this is, in future, if I want to use the value 7, in future, if I want to use the value 3.14, in future, if I want to use the name, my name, I can simply go and access A, B, C, which is called variables. Which is called variables. Now, the first definition which I'll give to variables is, something. I'm not referring any Google definition or a chat GP definition or any book definition. I am defining my own definitions. Okay. So please remember how we can work with this. So something you can store, something you store as a value for future purpose. Okay. So maybe another way to define is which will be useful to refer in future. So something you can store as a value for future purpose, which is going to be useful. How? If I want to go and write print of A, I will be able to accessible in future. I'll be able to accessible in future. If I want to go and write B, I'll be getting 7. If I want to go and access C, I'll be able to get 7. So the names which you see, right, the Santhosh or 7 or 3.14, those are the values I am going and storing in a variable. What is variable? Something you can store it for future purpose. After some time, you come back and you write, okay, print of A, automatically that value will be printed. We'll try to understand the scope. When I say scope, I will close all this and again I'll come back and I'll open. Will it work? We'll see that. But as of now, I am still within the session. I have opened this Jupyter notebook. I am still within the session. And if I go and write print of A or print of B, automatically it will work. Okay. But if I go and write print of capital A, I'm getting 6. But where did I define capital A? I've defined A equal to Santhosh, right? But when I say print of A, why I'm getting something called 6 and why not I'm getting Santhosh?
Previously, you Santosh in Samoli.
You need to understand that your small a is not equivalent to, because small a is a different variable, capital A is a different. So maybe I would have used somewhere A, B, C. So that's why it's not showing. Okay. Now, so far, so good. Okay. I have variables, and variables are something which can store the information. And let me tell you what is allowed and what is not allowed. Let me tell you that. And before that, I've also told you that Python is a dynamically typed program. So when I say dynamically typed program, you need not tell that A is a string value. You need not tell that B is a integer value. You need not tell that C is an integer value. Automatically, you assign some value to this variable. Your variables will take into consideration, okay, this is a string value, this is a float value, or this is an integer value. It is called dynamically typed. You need not go and mention the data type. Automatically, it will go and take it. Can we go and test it? How can we check the data type of a variable? You simply write type type of A. You simply write type of A. This type of A will tell you what is the data type. It will tell you what is the data type, and it is simply telling that str. And from this, I understand that Python so the laziest technology. Why? It is not even giving me the full data type. str stands for string.
String.
str stands for string, right? It's a string record. Now, okay, why can't I check for type of B? It's giving int. Now int stands for integer. I did not define B to be integer anywhere, anytime. It is dynamically assigning. If I give B equal to 7, so 7 means it's an integer value. It's just directly going to assign B. So the type of B is it's going to be integer, right? So you in your home, right, you have mug, right? You have mug, you have a coffee mug, you have a tea mug, you have different mugs. So first you will try to tell them, okay, this is a mug where you have to go and store the coffee. So you're defining first. So that's called a statically type, but this is dynamically type. Whatever you give first, based on that I will call. If you give coffee, I'll call it as coffee mug. If you give tea, I will call it as tea mug. So depending on the value which you're storing, then only I'm calling it. That is what is happening for A, B, and C. So depending on what value you're storing, I am going to get the type. So A means it's a string value, right? B means it is going to give you a integer value. C means it's going to give a float value. So this is nothing but dynamically having this types. Okay, so far so good. Now let's come back to the problem. I will assign a variable. I will assign a variable. Okay, I will be keep asking questions and you need to think and tell me, because I keep saying this, unless and until you think, unless and until you work, unless and until you practice, Python is difficult. Okay, now A equal to 99. Why this 99? The number of students who are there in class today. 99 minus 1, 98 students. 98 students, one mentor, right? 99. If I simply give A equal to 99, and if I go and say that print of A, if I go and say in this only, I can even write print of A. So 99 is the number of students in the class. So in order to make it better, I can add something to this print statement. I can add something to the print statement. Okay. So how can we do it? I will simply say, I will remove this and I will say total number of students in AD class. I will write one print statement and I'll write another print statement and I'll write A, right? So I'm writing this. I am writing this. Now, I will go and run this. Total number of students in AD class is 99. Okay, I'm satisfied, but I'm not happy. Why you need two print statements? Why you need two print statements? So let me write it in only one. Is it possible? So I will remove this and I will write A here. Because for A, you don't need to give the codes. For string, you need to give the codes. So I'll go and run it. It's showing invalid syntax. So that means from this to this, I'll put one separator like a comma. Now it's working. So total number of students in AD classes, and now it has changed to 101. So let me give 101. Now it's 101. Now this is how you can have the numbers as well as a string. But remember, if it is a string, it has to be within the quotes. And in order to write the number, you just put comma. It will work. Okay. Now, so far, so good, right? The variable name I have given as A, which is not that much of user friendly, Okay. I don't know what is this A. Okay. So imagine that this is my weight. And imagine that this is my height. Okay, one is my weight and one is my height. It's not that readable. You've simply assigned one number, that's it, right? To make it better, I will give some good naming. Okay, if I give a good naming, it will be good. So what I will do, I'll simply go and write weight. I'll simply go and give height. Now it makes sense. Now if I want to go and print, it makes sense, right? Print weight, which is nothing but 65. So you can use variables. You can even give A, B, C, D, E, F till Z, but try to make it more meaningful. What is a 65? A is equal to 65, weight equal to 65. There are two different meanings you can understand. A is simply you're assigning some anonymous value. Weight equal to 65 means, okay, this is something I'm going to use it for future, which is going to be 65. Like that, you can go and have it. Okay. Now, and one thing which you have now understood is have some good naming conventions. Now I will define a variable total number of students equal to 96 or 98. Now this is a variable. This is a variable. So I'll say print of this value I'll give, it will work. So line number 36, just I wanted to make sure that the variable name is more readable. So I'll give this. Okay. Now, what is this? You're coming from English medium. What you have written without space, without it, why have you suppressed everything without space and all? Okay. So I was not happy. So I thought I'll give like this. Total number of students equal to 98. I'll give like this. It is throwing an error. It is throwing an error. Variable is what? Something name you're giving and assigning a value. But unfortunately, line number 38 is not working. Line number 38 is not working. The reason is if you're defining a variable, I've already told you, you have to follow some protocols, rules and regulations. And the next thing which I will be going and writing is, in order to define your variable name should be single word. Variable name should be single word. This is acceptable. This is acceptable because this is single word, but this is not single word. This is not single word. Variable is actually an identifier. It tells us, okay, this value is this much, but at any point of time, you cannot have your variable names like this. Maybe you can do it better. You can do it like this. In order to have a separator, you can have like this. This makes somewhat meaningful. The reason why this will still be acceptable because it's just even a single word now. It's a single word. Total number of students, if I give you without any other, without space, with space, it is not a single word. But I'm filling that space with a special character, which is called underscore. It is working. Now, don't ask me a question. Instead of this, if I give like this, or if I put any other special characters like this, will it work or not? Don't ask me this question. Before asking me this question, what you need to do? Before asking this question whether this will work or not, what you need to do? You try and tell me whether it will work or not. Can anyone do it right away?
Yes.
What it is throwing? What it is the error? What is the error? Okay. So instead of this, let me give something like, it is also a character. This is also a character. This is also a character. Now let's see. Cannot assign to an operator. Okay, this is also not working. Let's put some this now not working. Dollar symbol I'll put, that is also not working. So one thing which is acceptable is underscore. I want you to find out what is the other special character that is acceptable. It may or it may not be there. It may or may not be there. Usually we will try to have the variable name with a underscore or with a single word. But is it acceptable with any other name? I'm not going to tell you. I want you to find out and tell me whether it will work or not. But any other special character, and Python says that I am sorry, I'm not understanding. I'm like a baby. I've been taught with certain rules and regulations. I have to follow that. If you are giving something else, I'm sorry, I cannot respond. That's the message that Python will tell you. So if you have to work with the variables, you have to make sure that you actually give a single word, or you can give it a word with an underscore. That is possible. Now, will it work? Will it work? Sorry, I did not run this. Okay, it's working. It's working. So acceptable is underscore, it will work. So instead of underscore, if I give any other like this, it will not work. Okay. So always the only acceptable special character is acceptable special character for naming variable is underscore. Okay. So it's underscore. Now, that's is fine. Underscore is acceptable. So I can do like this, and it has to be a single word. That is what is also I have told you now. And let me give you something called like this, invalid syntax. So the next pointer which you need to understand is variable names cannot start with numbers, numerical values, whatever it is. So initially we started with assigning a simple variable, and we got to know 4 points. Something you can store as a value for future purpose. Yes, perfect. Variable name should be a single word. Perfect. Acceptable special character for naming variables is underscore, and variable names cannot start with numbers. Very good. So far, so good. So when you are giving, don't give just ABC, try to have some meaning to that. So that's how everyone can understand. And apart from that, if you are like having a total number of students or total number of students with the underscore, it is acceptable. Okay. And one which is not acceptable is a name starting with number is not acceptable. If name, actually this is a alpha numeric, because numeric value is also there, alphabetical also is there. That itself is not working. Can I go and do like this? Never. How can you assign a number to a number? Not possible, right? So it will not work. So it has to be either a single character is also fine, but you have to make sure that it is a character with an underscore, without an underscore, but it should be a single word. Okay. Now, so far, I am seeing all this. This and all is black color. This and all is red color. This is black color. But sometimes the character is being displayed as a green color. Type is a green color. Print is a green color. Green color means it's a keywords. Okay. So I wanted to assign print equal to 5. It's working. It is working, right? I don't have any problem. It's working. Let me go and write print of print. Something has happened. Something has happened. I'm assigning a 5 to a print value. Print is actually a keyword, but I didn't know that. So I'm going and assigning it. Something has gone wrong. So if I say print of print, something is a problem now. Okay. Now, if I write print of yes also now, yes is something which I've already assigned 75, right? If I go and write, now print is also not working. In normal print here, normal print was there, right? Print of I love data engineering. That also is not working now. Start of the class, print of I love you data engineering or print of hello world was working. But suddenly I don't know, my brain fade. What do you mean by brain fade? Brain fade means suddenly I lose concentration. I was actually driving. Suddenly I got a brain fade. That means I suddenly lost the concentration. I'm writing the exam. I'm writing the exam. Suddenly I don't know what exam I'm writing. So brain fade is something happens to your, your conscious, that you lose your concentration. So I was teaching well. I was teaching you well. I was teaching you from the basics. And suddenly with the brain fade, I just went and gave print of 5. I know I'm not supposed to do that because print is a function. That function I'm assigning to some value. Now the actual function only is not working. The print itself is not working now. The normal print only is not working because I have assigned the value print equal to 5. So now the print functionality is being lost. What was that print was able to do, now that itself is lost, right? So internally what they would have written, print means you need to go and display something. So that is a logic they would have written. But now what is happening? Since I have to write something, print of displaying something, since I have assigned a value print equal to 5, the function has lost its originality. The function has lost its originality. So in order to again go back and reset it, because I have somehow did some mistake, right? So in order to reset that, I will go to kernel and I can go and restart the kernel. So restart the kernel is basically like restarting the session. So I will go and restart the session. Do you want to reset the current kernel? All variables will be lost. Okay, I will reset it. Now if you go here, and run this, your print will work. Your print will work. This will not work because of some other name. This will also not work. This will work. This will not work because I have not given quotes. So all this is something which is acceptable. Now, these are all keywords, right? So let's do one thing now. So I will not assign with print. I will assign with something called type. So type equal to 5 I will do. So if I do that 5 type equal to 5, it did not throw me error. But if I'm going and printing type, it's giving 5. So that means for the keyword, I have assigned a value, it's working fine. So initially what was wrong? Because print only I was giving 5, right? So print itself has lost its originality. But now print is working fine. But type is a keyword which I've assigned as a value now. So if I go and use type equal to 5, so if I do print of type, it's working. But what is the actual work of type? It used to tell the data types. Now if I go and run, now it is not working. Type is not working. Initially type was working. After I assigned some value, type function has lost its originality. What exactly that was doing, that itself is lost. Are you getting what I'm trying to do? Yes, I am trying to assign a variable name, but unfortunately I'm trying with an keywords only. So it's losing its functionality. What type is capable of that it was not able to do. But if I simply go and give type print of type, so type has been assigned with 5, so it is working. So my assignment operator is working, my variable is working, but I'm losing its originality. Someone else who has written this function 20 years back, you are going and simply changing with a variable name. Please request you not to do that. Someone has written the logic for type, what type should behave. Someone has written the logic, what print should behave. Don't go and change the logic. Instead, give something else. Give something else. Don't use your keywords to be your variable names. The last point which I want to tell you, I'll tell you is variable names cannot be your Python keywords. I'll actually write two statements. You tell me which is correct, okay? Which is correct? No, I'm just asking, what is the actual meaning of 5A and 5B? What do you mean by 5A? What do you mean by 5B? Both are same only, right? Yes, very good. 5A is possible. You can use your keywords as your variable names. You can use it. That's what I tried, right? Type equal to 5 also I did it. Print equal to 5 also I did it. But the correct way of doing is don't use keywords. That should be your variable points. So if someone is asking you, no one will ask you. That's what I'm saying. For the initial five days, 6 days, whatever you're learning, no one will ask you in the interview. But it's necessary to know because you are learning a programming language. For the first time, you are learning something called variables, and it is a clear-cut picture that you need to remember these 5 points. Something you want to store for a future purpose, please go and use variables. Variables can store some value, and it should be a very much a single word. But if you want to have some big words or maybe a sentence, like, you have to fill it with the underscore. There is no other special character that you can use except underscore. And variable names cannot start with the numbers, and also requesting you not to use your keywords for your variable names. Are we good? Okay. Interview question. Will this work? You're saying that 7 Dhoni will not work, it seems. Okay, you're saying 7 Dhoni will not work, but you're saying Dhoni 7 will work. What is the difference? If Dhoni listens this session, he will ask, hey, what your logic you're writing? Both are same only, no? If you go back and see the point number 2, I have told you that variables names cannot start with numbers. I've told you. Did I tell that variable names cannot end with numbers? If I do this, it will not work. But if I do the reverse, it will work. Who is the best finisher in the recent times in Indian cricket? Rinku Singh. Do you all know who is Rinku Singh? Okay. If I asked you the same question last year, you people would have not known it. Now this year, if I ask you who is Rinku Singh, why you people are able to tell? Let's search, okay? Rinku Singh. Okay, he says that if I just search, right, why Rinku Singh is famous, is a player now, is the best known for his innings on 9th April 2023. Basically, I would say 5 months back, where he helped his franchise, the Kolkata Knight Riders, defeat the Gujarat Titans by hitting 5 consecutive six in the 5 last balls of the last over the T20 match. Now tell me, it's another example of nothing is impossible, correct?
Yes.
It's another example of nothing is impossible. When you need 5-6 to win a match, and this guy has hit 5 sixes of 5 balls, and we are still deciding about is it possible or not possible. We are still in that stage. Again, I'm repeating, if you put your efforts, if you do follow your passion, everything becomes easy. Never ever think that, oh, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be like challenging for me. Nothing. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. Virat Kohli was not able to do this. He's a number 1 batsman with almost 75 centuries. He was not able to do it. But this guy was able to do it. It's all about believing yourself. In the last over, you would have thought, yes, let me give a try. Let me give for one shot. Yes, it went for a 6. Let me give another shot. Yes, it went for a 6. Let me give a try. That's fine. I'm not going to lose anything. It's just a match. It's not end of the world. Let's give me a try. Third 6. Let me give another one. 4. Let me give another one. Yes, the job done, right? Another example of nothing is impossible. Now, let's come back to this. Dhoni is the best finisher, but unfortunately, Dhoni 7 will work, but 7 Dhoni will not work. Okay. Now, let's go and do some more details here. Okay. I will tell A equal to KSR DataVision. What is the full form of KSR? What is the full form of KSR? What do you mean by KSR? What do you mean by key to sustainable results?
KSR.
I mean, I'm asking meaning. What do you mean by key to sustainable results? It's a normal English word, right? What is the meaning? What is the meaning of data vision? What is the meaning of data vision? Data is a form of visualization. Who is that person? What's your name? So it is a good guess, but can you think more? Can you split the words into two? Data is a separate word, vision is a separate word. I'll tell you one thing, okay? If I want to join a company, you know what I will do? I'll do a lot of research. I'll go and try to find out the company, when the company got started, what they do, okay, what they do for the source of revenue, how much of revenue they're getting generated, who is the CEO, who is the director, and when did they get started, what is the company growth, go and see the reviews in the Glassdoor, Google reviews, so much of things I do if I want to join a company. You all people have joined KSR. Did you all do research, or simply someone told I joined? Did you all do research? So you people have only gone through YouTube videos as well as demos and previous, but nothing you've researched about company, correct? Let me tell you one truth about KSR. KSR is not an institute. KSR is a startup. KSR Data Vision is not an institute. It's a startup. In that startup, training is just one part. And that's what you people have joined. Okay. Now let's go forward. I'm going and writing A equal to Data Vision. And I'm going and writing type of A. Unfortunately, the type function is not working because somewhere here I have tried to assign type equal to 5. So it's lost. So I'll go and restart the kernel. The moment if I restart the kernel, the entire session will be resetted. Whatever value which I'm giving, everything will vanish. Now I'll go here. Now I'll go and run A equal to KSR data vision. Now if I go and write type of A, it's a string value. It's a string value. Okay. Now, of course, I should have given some unique name. Maybe I would have given startup, or I would have given institute name, something I should have given, but I've given just A. Now I've wrote A, and A is nothing but a variable. Now I just pressed dot, and I was just looking into it. By mistake, my left hand was on tab. So suddenly there are so many functions that I can see. I have a variable which is nothing but A. In that A, I just had a dot, and by mistake I pressed a tab, and so many things I can see here. So many things I can see here. So I was just going through it. And one thing which I understand is there was a function called upper. There is a function called upper. So I have written like this upper. Okay. Now, I'll just put it in this. I'll just enter and I'll run it. And suddenly the value which you are storing in A, on top of that value, you applied some function called upper. What has happened? The entire variable content has now changed to capitals. That's good to know. Let me try another one. A dot tab. There is something called capitalize. So simply if you run, it may not show you the results. It's a function. So you have to open the bracket, close the bracket. Now if I go and run, so capitalize means it's actually capitalizing your first letter. This is a small k. This is a capital K. Okay. Now it's quite interesting to know. Now I'll give B equal to 5. If I do A equal to A dot star, and if I press tab, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 28, 31, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 42, 44, 46, 47 functions I can apply on just a variable called A, which is a type of a string. Now I've given B equal to 5. So I'll go and write B dot and give dot. Is the same functions you are getting, or it's a different functions?
Different because it's a numbers.
It's different because the data type is different.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 9 functions. Only 9 functions, right? So what is happening is something is happening when I give a string value, something is happening when I give a number value. I've told you that Python is a dynamically typed programming where you simply go and assign some value, automatically that variable start behaving like that own data type. You need not give string, you need not give float, you need not give integer, and it will take care by itself. For A, you add 45 plus functions. For B, you're just having 9 functions. It's all because one is character, one is string, and one is integer. Okay, now I want you to try with all the functions that is applicable in A. A dot case fold is there. Just try to get what is this case fold. I want you to understand what is this case fold. I want to understand what is this. I will go and give it as title. Let's see what will title will give. What is title giving? So here it was very much small letters, but if I go and give a capitalized, right? Only first letter as becoming capitalized.
Capital.
And then what we can do is we can go and get the like if I give a title, it's almost going to the capitalize each word, right? So like this, I want you to try all the functions. It's not at all useful for us for data engineering perspective, but in fact, in case in real time we wanted to have certain capitalize or maybe a case for that and all, we can do it. Let's try one more thing. Let's have this KSR DataVision. Okay, and in this KSR DataVision, if I go and say print of A, it's KSR DataVision. I will say, see, even I am doing for the first time. Assume that even I don't know Python. Assume that even I don't know Python. If I was in this situation, if I was in your place, how I would have practiced, I'll tell you. A dot, I will write something called count. I'll write something called count. Now I'll go and write this. Just like every function, right? I am opening the bracket, closing the bracket. It is saying that it's a function. Now I'll go and execute this. Now it's throwing me error if I write a count function. And the error is count takes at least one argument. Count takes at least one argument. I will simply go and tell, I will write something called yes. It's giving us 1. It's giving us 1. If I give R, it's giving us 1. If I give A, it's giving us 2. If I give D, it's giving us 1. What do you mean by this? Counting the number of letters. But initially when I didn't know it. It did not work. For all the other functions, it was working with open bracket and close bracket. But for this one, it is expecting some input parameter. So you simply go and give what you want to count, you write it. Now similarly, if A is equal to some name I'll give, let's say data, and again if I go and give A dot count, we tried, capitalize we tried, and let's say that is alpha. If I go and write it, is it alphabetic? Is it alphabetic? That's why it's giving true. And what if I give you 5, it's giving false? Why? Alpha means it is actually going and checking, is it an alpha value? Of course, this is not an alpha value. It's even though it's an integer I've given within the quotes, it will still be considered a string, but this condition is failing, right? And similarly, you can go and check for alpha numeric is alpha is digit and try it. If I go and do this, it's true. Basically, it's a digit. Instead of this, if I go and give data, and now if I go and do is digit, false, because it's not a digit, right? So is digit, anything which starts with is, remember this, all the small things, anything with the starting with is, it will give you either a false or a true. It's like a Boolean output. Is means you're checking is alpha, is digit. So is digit, only 2 outputs you can have. Either you can have yes or you can have no. So depending on that, you will be getting the output. So again, I'll go and try maybe is, let's say that we will go and use, there is something called strip. Okay, let's see what is a strip. Let me give some space here. And I will go and try print of A. This is a value I'm giving. This I'm giving data. So if you see here, if I selected this, actually lot of space, correct? It's like lot of space. Whatever space I've given, it's been tried here. So now if I go and try this strip, it's removing the space. What do you mean by strip? Strip is basically removing the extra spaces. Are we good? Okay. Today we started with a simple function where we assign, and we got to know that Python is case sensitive, and we have started defining with a single quotes or a double quotes, or make sure that you give a proper function name. You can never use any capital letters or maybe any camel case, nothing will work. And you can also, if you want to define a string, you have to go and give within the quotes. And the most important topic that we have learned in the complete sessions, we have covered variables. We have covered variables. Okay. And this variables, basically, like we have given some of the points, 5 points to be followed, and we have experimented certain functions. And all this is something as an example, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. And what you need to do is, write down the comments. Okay, write down the comments like this. This is not acceptable because Python is not a, sorry, print is not a keyword, not a keyword. Okay, it's just a capital P. So like this, you can give, this is also not allowed because Python is case sensitive. Like this, if you name it all this right, if you name all this right, and here are the variables, and this is the type which gives you the type of the variable, whether it's an integer, float, or string, it will give you. And I want you to do like this. Okay, and by chance, if you are like done with the topic, if you close it, it's done. Python is done. Next time you open that, you can directly need not open Anaconda prompt. You need not open Anaconda prompt. After opening Anaconda prompt, you need not go to a Jupyter. You can directly search here Jupyter notebook. The moment you directly open the Jupyter notebook, directly it will take you to the IDE. Just give last modified, and some seconds ago I have saved this. If you open the file, same file you will be able to see. Use this as your preparation document. Any day after 5 years, after 10 years, even after 15 years, if you open this, you'll be able to see all the information what has been written. The good thing about Python and the good thing about this Jupyter notebook is it's very much useful like your documents. Usually what people will do whenever you're reading something, you make some notes. You open your book, you write with, use your pen and paper, you make some notes, right? Why you need that? This itself is your notebook. Your Jupyter notebook is like your preparation notebook. Anytime, any doubts, you can always open this. So try all the functions, write it down the comment. In fact, in your real-time project, something you're stuck up with it, don't browse it. You have your own notes. You are the author of this notes. Use it. Are we good? Okay. With that, we'll stop here. We'll continue in the next class. Whatever has been told in the class, I want each and everyone to try in your system.